Hello, Internet. Again, it's been a while. It seems like I say that frequently when I do a video lately, and that's because, I've been pretty light on posting videos the last couple of months, which, again, is maybe a good thing because I've been in a quiet period as far as my cancer and treatment, etc. So it has been a busy summer and fall now. And I guess I needed that. Busy in a way, meaning without having to make trips to the hospital all the time or for treatment or procedures or lab draws or appointments and consultations, whatever. That has been entirely lacking for a while. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm in an in-between phase, and I've already thought that's probably what I'll title this video. Something to that effect, because I am in between the treatment of the late winter and springtime, and then the ablation procedures that I had in July and follow-up scans in August. And, this period is quiet for now until my next set of blood work and scans, which will be actually 2 days before Thanksgiving on the 25th of November. So yes, I am truly in an in-between phase between all the stuff that happened earlier in the year and then the next set of evaluations and decisions that will need to be made at the end of November, which is still, about 6 weeks away. So yeah, guys, I have really been enjoying this downtime. As you know, those of you who follow along and those of you that I've seen and spoken to recently, you know that I've been really on the move. As soon as the side effects from my treatment back in the spring cleared up, it took, again, many of you remember, it took several weeks after my last immunotherapy treatment on the 28th of April. It took about a month or 5 weeks for the skin issues to clear up. Of course, you remember the fingertip problems, but then also just the rash on my chest, my face, my scalp, the extreme photosensitivity due to the treatment, plus the doxycycline that I was on to counter the effects of the treatment. It all ends up being a snowball effect. Everything is supposed to be for a curative purpose, but the drugs cause their side effects, and then the drugs that are supposed to help the side effects cause their own side effects. Anyway, all of that really didn't start to tone down or tamp down until about the first week or 10 days of June. And that's when I headed out to Colorado. And I did that epic road trip, camping trip in central Colorado during the middle of June. Following that, my parents and I, many of my family members, we made a trip down to Arkansas, Hot Springs, because my aunt passed away. And so that took about a week in the middle of July. In August, I accompanied my brother and his family up to northern Minnesota. We spent a few days on the lake up there, some fishing, boating, swimming. Our short summer season in Minnesota, it's nice to take advantage of that. We had a great time up there. And then September came, and I made that trip I flew out to Newark and then carpooled with some guys to the Poconos, where we had our Man Up to Cancer retreat, which happens on a yearly basis. And I've already spoken about that on these videos as well. And the most recent is that I have just returned from 1 week in Texas. Flew to Austin last week and was able to spend exactly a week with family in Austin and San Antonio. I had been to Austin before many years ago, but I had never been to San Antonio. And I had a great time. The number one thing is the visiting with family cousins and aunts and uncles, and it was just a fantastic time of talking and getting caught up and, muddling through all the details of life, the victories and the struggles, which we all have. But it was a lot of fun. Plus, I got to see a good bit of Austin and a good bit of San Antonio, enjoyed some great food, and a really wonderful time. So I am fresh off of that trip. Okay, so you can see I've been busy during this in-between period. And as I've spoken to many of you about, it's, I kind of look at what's been going on since June with all this traveling and busyness and packing and unpacking bags and road trips and going to the airport and getting on airplanes and renting cars and whatever all it's been. It seems kind of crazy. And I wonder what the heck. But I think there is something in me that drives me to do this stuff when I have these in-between periods. Having stage 4 cancer really makes you appreciate the times when you feel good, the times when you don't have treatment and procedures and surgeries and consultations and lab work and scans on the calendar. There was one point back in the spring when I had 22 appointments on my calendar at Mayo Clinic. And as you know, I am very grateful and very thankful for the treatment that I'm receiving. It's been great, and I'm doing much better than I ever thought I would be as we approach the 3-year mark of my diagnosis. But, during those times when there's treatments going on, it is dang busy, and there's really hardly any time to think about anything else other than just the maintenance of life. Family issues, going to the grocery store. You guys know what I'm talking about. During those times, it's, it just seems like I can't even begin to think about doing anything that's just fun or anything that's extracurricular, quote unquote. So that's why this in-between phase, starting in June, July, August, September, and now into October, has been such a gift and a blessing for me to be able to live life a little bit. And I know there's something in me that's just pushing me to squeeze everything out of this period that I can. Because here's the question, what's next? And you guys who watch these videos, you've heard me talk about it dozens of times. The whole thing of, you got to be positive. You have to expect great things. Trust God for miracles. All right. But it is also very wise to be realistic about what could be coming up. And I realize that when I have my scans and my blood work in about 6 weeks from now, maybe we're going to get great news and everything, the cancer is going to be at bay. There's going to be no aggressive spread or growth or new stuff popping up. Maybe my lab work is going to show good numbers all around. And of course, we pray for that. We hope for that. We believe for that. But at the same time, I think it's wise to prepare for something that you may not want to see. And I've always said I would rather go into that with a mind that is at least aware of the possibilities than to go into that and then be blindsided by news that is not as good. So anyway, that's my point, is that I look at, late November, Thanksgiving, that's going to be another turning of the page. Either I will get great news and I'll be able to say, wow, I can look towards the winter now and, continue to try to live life and, have a little bit more of a longer term focus. Or we could find out that we have to take a deep breath and, as I say, put on my big boy pants again and head back into some kind of treatment. So we'll see. That's 6 weeks away. But this is enough. I wanted to check in with you guys because I think it's been 3 weeks since I posted a video. That's what's going on with me. Yeah, in between, right? A lot of us know what it's like to live life. Actually, you know, I think they say, I don't know if it's a quote from somewhere, it probably is, that life is lived in the in-between. We have big things in our lives, milestones, dates on the calendar, huge events, but life is lived in the in-between. And that's where I am right now. So love to each one of you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys, family and friends who check in here. I know you do, and I know that you are listening and you are watching and you are standing with me and you are praying for me. And I always want to make sure that I acknowledge that and thank you for that. And all the best to you and your families as well as we head into the late fall and winter season. See you next time. Bye-bye.